I received a phone call today by a friend of mine who lives in North Carolina, and he saw my previous video and he asked a very valid question. He said he noticed that during the end of my video, when I had said that time is sacred, he said, "Dave, how come you didn't lean into that a little bit more?" And of course, I told him that I was on a borderline rant, and so when I am that way, I do make I won't say the mistake of not elaborating on the meaning of things. It's just that when you're talking about time being sacred, that's a whole different subject, and that's it's a whole different video. So this is not going to be long. I'm just going to respect my friend in North Carolina. I'm just going to just explain that to him and his wife, because him and his wife was wondering about what that means. And I'm not the type of person that's real sarcastic when it comes to things like that. Like, look it up. Don't you know what the words mean? And that's another problem that we have in the community, is this real sarcastic attitude towards things, because by what a lot of people don't understand, that everyone is an individual. What time is sacred means to David may not be what time means to you or anyone else that you may encounter in your life. Now, even though that is, to my understanding, a very basic meaning to that, according to the way that the words are put together, time is sacred. So I'm just going to give what that means to me. It means that even though we're in the element of time and we're moving forward, because time is a forward motion, even though we're in the present and in the process of moving forward from day to day, which is forward motion, none of us know exactly when this organism is going to expire and take you from the earthly realm. So by us not knowing, that implies that our time here on this planet is of the unknown, which is the unknown is sacred. We don't know when we're going to expire from this planet. It's all sacred. And the mistake that a lot of us make as human beings is that sometimes we imply that we know exactly how much time that we have on this planet. When we say, "Oh, I have I got years ahead. I got years ahead of me." Well, that's something that you don't know, and simply because someone gives you the information that you don't know, that it shouldn't be considered negative. It is a reality that you don't know, because like in 2014, when I had my motorcycle accident, February the 10th, 2014, I was just on my way to go pick up my last check at this casino that used to be in Activation out here called the Rio, because I was a manager. I was a manager there. And so I was offered a job at what used to be the Hilton, another management position over there, even though it was in another department, because I was a manager in the stewarding department at the Rio. And so what was Hilton at the time, they found my resume and they saw that I was a manager in the Porter's department at what used to be the Fitzgerald's, and I was a manager at in the Porter department at Caesar's Palace. And so they wanted to, they offered me a job over there. And so what I had did, of course, just like yourself, you weighed the options as far as the income. is concerned, and the opportunity to possibly be paid overtime, even on salary. And so when I saw that, I'm like, yeah, I'll come. And so I'm on my way to get my last check after Rio. And because I was in a very conflicting relationship, and there was just a whole lot of things going on. And so I wasn't getting enough sleep. I was spending a lot of time writing. I was dealing with things at the job as well, because when you're the only black man in the whole department on every shift, you're the only black man that ever came into a department that was predominantly ran and occupied by Hispanics. And I was there for like eight and a half years. And so during that 8.5 years, the majority of the time that I was working there, I had to deal with a whole lot of racism from the Hispanics there. And so it takes a whole lot to endure that and still do a good enough job to where those same Hispanics in the management department began to see your value and saw that, hey, even though this guy is black, not only look at his credentials, but look at his attitude and look at his work. Look at the man's work. And so when Hispanics saw that I wasn't this common Negro or common mulatto or whatever they were saying that I was, they saw that, to their understanding, I wasn't a common black man because my work ethic was excellent. And what is meant by that is that most Hispanics in the working field have fallen for this false rumor that black men are not good workers. And so I had to work through that to show them that black men work hard. And not only do we work hard, we work as good as you in the work field. And the majority of the times, the reason why we end up doing things better is because we have to apply ourselves more in particular environments in order to not only be accepted, but to maintain our employment there. And at the same time, we're showing a whole lot of character, we're showing a whole lot of wisdom and intelligence and strength in order to withstand your psychological and emotional assaults on us. And so we are able to maintain our composure, even though you have lost your composure because you want to just try to sabotage a brother. Or so it's like with all of that, I was dealing with a lot of sabotage. And so we would work 7 hours, then we all would take our breaks the last hour, and then we would go home. So I would spend 7 hours working, doing a great job. And then there was some times to where I had to get up halfway into my break and go check my work, because sometimes my work was being sabotaged. And so I would have to hurry up and do some of my areas of work over again before the restaurants open, and before the morning management would come in and check their work in regards to my being a supervisor, and my effort of making certain that everyone did their work effectively. And so during the I would say a little bit past the halftime that I was working there up under these Hispanics, they grew to like me And actually, some grew to love me. You know, I would come in and they would come up and they would hug me. They would say, "You don't look black," and blah, blah, blah. You know, and I wouldn't have those conversations with them because, as far as I'm concerned, hey, what a whole lot of them don't understand, and I had to explain it to them. You know, in 1492, when the Spaniards came over here to America, 89% of them had black blood in their veins. And so when those particular Spaniards had slept with a whole lot of the Indian women who were my dad's people and my mother's people on both sides, this is how the Mexican manifested. And so it took from 1492 and their laying with the Indian community, or joining with the Indian community, I guess that's a better way to say it. The Hispanic, or what is called the Mexican community, wasn't recognized over here in America and registered as a separate race until 1517. And so when I shared that information with them, and and I told them, don't believe a word that's coming out of my mouth. Don't believe anything that I'm telling you. Just research it for yourself. And so some of them were basically saying, so what are you trying to say? You're black too. You know, according to the one drop theory over here in America, due to the fact that your so-called ancestors from Spain came over here, by 89% of them having African blood in their veins, and by us being descendants from Africa, and even though some of us are not, but I'm not having that conversation right now. It means that when those Spaniards joined with the indigenous people who are called the Indians, which gave birth to you, called the Mexicans, it means that you too have African blood in your veins. Regardless if you want to accept it or not, there's really nothing that you can do about it. And so when I explained that to them, and they did the proper research, even though some of the dates were off according to the information that they found, the fact remains that you too have African blood in your veins. And so when I help them understand that we are quote unquote family in that sense, then a whole lot of their attitudes change towards me, along with my kindness towards them and everything. Now, with all of that being said, I want to get back to the main point. When I was on my way going to the Rio to pick up my last check so that I could start my job at the Hilton, I was riding on the street out here called Desert Inn, and there's an underpass to where you go beneath and you come back up, and it'll put you on a street called Paradise, which is a route which would get you from the Strip to the downtown area quicker than taking the Strip. And so as I was on the underpass going towards the street Paradise, because of everything that I was going through with this relationship, the constant writing and the lack, and the coming down from battling these Hispanics for almost 8.5 years, my body just all of a sudden shut off. It shut off. And I had an accident. My motorcycle went past Paradise, and I hit an RV at 57 miles an hour. And so when that happened, believe me, when I woke up that morning, I didn't know that was going to happen. The reason why I didn't know that was going to happen is because we all exist in the movement of time. And so by time being sacred, none of us know what's going to happen tomorrow. None of us know when we are going to, this organism is going to suffer trauma and possible death. Because that particular accident, I checked out here between 7 and 8 minutes. And that was the most beautiful experience in my life, which is, I plan on making a video about it. But the whole thing is, time is indeed sacred. And so by us not knowing how much time we have left, because life is predictably unpredictable, we don't know how much time we have left. And by us not knowing what time we have left, we shouldn't mock ourselves and assume that we know how much time we have left. And we should take every moment seriously in our lives. And that doesn't imply not having fun sometimes with your life. I mean, you can have fun with your life, but during those times of having fun with your life, you have to be responsible. You have to take your life serious enough, because you love your life, to the capacity that you take it serious. And don't do anything irresponsibly like I did by not getting enough rest and allowing my body to go into a state of exhaustion. And let me tell you something about exhaustion. Exhaustion does not give you a clue. It doesn't give you a clue. Now, when you're tired, you know you're tired. And if you know that you're tired, get your rest. Because back in the day, I knew I was tired, but I kept going. And due to the fact that I kept going, my body went into a state of exhaustion. Now, when you're tired, your body sends you a message, hey, I'm tired, you need to lay me down. Now, exhaustion is something else. When you're exhausted because you haven't been responsible by getting the proper rest, this organism is going to, at times, like, I can't go any further. So no matter where you are or what you're doing, I'm getting ready to shut down. And so when it shuts down, you're not even going to feel it. All of a sudden, you're just going to be out. And due to the fact that I was on a 950cc Kawasaki Ninja, and I was riding it, the body said, enough, shut down. I didn't know that was going to happen. So the whole accident coming forth to me was a sacred thing in time. And so my point is, time is sacred. You don't know how much time you have left. You don't know if you're you just don't know. You don't know. So that's pretty much what I meant when I said time is sacred. And so with that being said, I just wanted to clarify that. This is just a clarifying video. So with all of that being said, I appreciate everything. I appreciate all of my subscribers. And I will be talking with you soon. Stay human. I forgot to make one valid point. When these so-called conscious people come to you and they say, there's no such thing as time, time is an illusion, just ask them if they're employed. You know, they talk that, but I bet you on time for work. When you punch in your job, you're on time, right? I thought you didn't believe in time. You know, because I've worked with a few people like that. They say time doesn't exist, but at the same time they say, man, I'll be glad when I get off. What do you mean off? Off what? Off work, which implies what? You have to stay at a certain place a certain amount of time. From here to there, that implies movement, because movement is time, right? How long does it take you to get to work? Oh, it takes me about 15 minutes. What do you mean 15 minutes? Mister, I don't believe in time. Time is an illusion. Okay. So when those people come to you and they try to make you feel as though you're in the process of sleeping while you're living, just ask them if they're employed. Just ask them if they're employed. Okay, I just wanted to make that quick point, because we got a lot of weirdos out here. All right, everybody stay human, and everyone please have a good